Okay,
Okay.
Cyan?
Yes. A lot of my questions are to do with menopause symptoms. I was 35 when I was diagnosed. I am 38 now, and I've been on HRT for just over 2 years. And so it's just what I'm finding changing with that, what I find my body changing and either needing more hormones and me being comfortable in giving that, and different sexuality issues as far as less desire. I definitely notice, and I feel bad for that because I'm only 38 and my husband has to deal with that. Dryness issues more so happening, and more just my own headset as far as that I'm not 40 and I'm having to deal with all this, and in the whole fertility part. When I was diagnosed, I had already had my children. Not that we were done, but I did have children already, so that wasn't so much and it was a great loss to me for my fertility because that was a gift my husband and I shared for sure. But for me, it's been more now the menopausal symptoms after that I struggle with, and for my husband as well, because it is definitely he feels the effects of it too.
Mm-hmm. So you've asked a question with or you've made a statement, I guess, more than anything, with sort of multiple issues, and what you're experiencing is not uncommon in any woman with cancer. But obviously, when you've had ovarian cancer, you've had your ovaries removed, and your ovaries really are the source of most of your hormones, not all of them,
Right.
but most of your hormones. That said, we are more than our hormones. Okay, that supplemental hormones
True.
don't answer every problem that we have. The other thing that I just wanted to say is that, and I'm not putting aside your cancer experience at all. However, there are many women starting in their 30s who start to notice these kinds of changes.
Okay.
So women with ovaries, right?
Right.
And I just want to put the fertility stuff aside, but what you describe in terms of, decreased desire for sex, and increasing vaginal dryness, in part may be hormonal, but in another part are extremely common as women get older, starting in their 30s for some. Things kind of change.
Right.
The positive of this is that there's lots we can do for a dry vagina.
Okay.
That's the easy, that in some ways is the easy part.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy for me to give advice about that. It's another thing entirely when you have to do something about it, because it really does take much of the spontaneity and the fun and the way things were. And I think an integral part, and I see this every day, for people who have survived cancer and the treatment is that the changes are forever symbolic of the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like someone else who's going through changes as part of menopause where they don't have that symbolism.
Right.
So that's an important thing to recognize. You all have been really honed by fire. You have been through, there are many ways of saying this, but you've been through things that the rest of us just absolutely can't imagine. Claudia, you talked about those scars, right?
Yes.
That forever are a reminder of what you went through. However, people often come out of this so much stronger. So let me talk a little bit positively about what one can do about vaginal dryness, and then I'll talk a little bit about libido. In terms of vaginal dryness, the fact that those of you who have spoken are taking supplemental hormones, that is a huge benefit. I mean, what they're trying to do is replace the hormones that are missing because your ovaries have gone. So generally there are not sort of ongoing, there are not problems that come from that. They're just they're replacing what's missing. So it's not like you're taking hormones in addition to having your own hormones. So it is perfectly safe and necessary. However, the answer is not necessarily more, upping your dose of hormones because you're experiencing vaginal dryness. There are some other things that you can do, particularly if you want to keep that supplementation sort of to the lowest possible level. And I'm getting a sense that that's what people want to do. So, in part the answer is lube, and more lube, and I'll talk about that. It might also be a little bit about a vaginal moisturizer, and it's really important to know the difference. So vaginal moisturizers are used to keep your vagina comfortable on a daily level. They are not about sexual activity. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I want you to do is go directly to your bathroom, and if you have a tube of KY jelly, I want you to pick it up and put it in the garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. People use it as lubricant. I have a theory that people are stealing them from the exam rooms in their gynecologist's office. I'm joking partly, but it's easily available. But there are much better products available. KY jelly, as you've probably experienced, tends to get sticky and tacky very quickly, and then you have little balls of sticky KY in your pubic hair. If you have pubic hair, I know some people get rid of it completely. I'm in my 50s, so, we hang on to ours as long as we can. we're at that tail end of feminism, It's a sort of, I don't know, it's some sort of little carpet of honor, Unlike you younger ladies who do all kinds of interesting things that hurt. Okay, so the KY jelly has to go. Okay. So, here are some great alternatives. I hope that you're writing this down.
Yep.
And these are all available in your local Shoppers Drug Mart, Loblaws, wherever, in any decent pharmacy, Rexall, you name it, it's going to be there. Okay. So, a good product, my favorite product, is something called KY Intrigue. It's quite expensive. A little goes a long way. It comes in a really groovy kind of black and hot pink box. KY Intrigue. It is silicone-based. It's not bad silicone. It is not absorbed in your body. It is extremely slippery, and it stays slippery for a really long time. A little goes a very long way. Just be careful, because you might get some on your husband, and he's going to slip off the end of the bed. So you can put a couple of drops on him, on his penis, or you can put a couple of drops just on the entrance to the vagina or on the vulva, because I'm finding that we don't recognize that a lot. That women, it's not so much the vagina that's the problem, it's actually the outside part, the vulva. So you can put some on there. If it drips on your skin, it has to be taken off with soap and water. Just be careful. Don't get it on the floor in your bathroom. You might break something if you step in it. So KY Intrigue is absolutely my favorite product. It is not perfumed. It's not colored. Whatever you do, be very careful about anything that says it's tingling, warming, cooling, intensifying. Because those kind of products, and KY makes another one. You've probably seen it advertised in magazines and on television. It's called KY... Shit, I've just forgotten. There's a man's one and a woman's one. It's kind of two things come in the one box. That contains, anything that is cooling or heating is going to contain stuff that for some women is really irritating. Mm-hmm. So just be careful. Okay. So they put peppermint and they put borage oil and they put those kinds of things in. I mean, some people really like them. My concern always is if it starts to itch or to burn, that's going to put a little bit of a damper on things as you go running for the hose. So just be careful of that. Another really good product is aStories. So it sounds like the Jetsons. aStories. It comes in a purple and red box. It's smaller. It's a good product. It does, however, contain a little bit of glycerin, because they put the glycerin in so that it tastes a little sweeter, because, people are going to taste it in a variety of ways. Some women find that they have yeast infections because their body reacts with the glycerin. They do make a glycerin and paraben-free version of aStories, and that box is red and purple with a little bit of light mint green. So those are two good products. There is another product that KY puts out that is called KY Liquid Beads. And this is a really interesting product because it is both a moisturizer and a little bit of a lubricant. So there are some women who need that moisture on a daily basis because they feel dry, and sometimes when they pass the urine it might sting a little bit. So the KY Liquid Beads work really great for them because the silicone kind of coats, it's like an ovule, right? And you put it in the vagina and your body heat melts the outside. It's best to be used at night because it can sort of, as it melts, it can get a little drippy. And some women find that that's actually enough. They don't need additional lubricants for sexual activity. But those are 3 really good products that I recommend. They're easy to get.
And can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
It's Cynthia. By my naturopath, she suggested olive oil.
Okay, there's a problem with olive oil.
Okay.
Any olive oil that stays in your body, because of the warmth, can go rancid.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is that you don't know where that olive oil is coming from, and unless it's organic and guaranteed pesticide-free, there is a chance that there are harmful pesticides and God knows what all else from what they spray on the olives.
Okay.
So just be really careful. Some women use almond oil. Something that works quite well as a moisturizer, not a lubricant, is vitamin E oil, and it's actually cheap. So you buy the little, you buy the vitamin E like those little tablets, right? You prick it with a pin. The oil comes out on your finger and you can apply that, and that is fine. You've just got to be really careful with food products. Because you don't want you down there being rancid. You know what I'm saying? Now, libido. Sorry, let's just stop here for a minute. Any questions about the lubes?
One I've been using is called Dyne Moist. That's it? Is that just a moisturizer then?
I don't know what's in it.
Okay. Well, I'll go try what you've...
Yeah, I don't know, and that might, it sounds like it might just be a moisturizer. Just, read the labels really carefully. If it's got ingredients that end in CONE, you know that it's silicone-based. If it's got glycerin in it, it'll say glycerin.
Okay.
You've got to be a little bit careful if you are using any kind of silicone sex toys, so silicone vibrators or dildos. You can't use the silicone products with it because they kind of eat away at the toy. So just be a little bit careful about that. I know this is complicated and it's a lot to take in, so my apologies. Can we talk a little bit about libido? Libido is a really difficult thing, and it's probably the most common complaint that I hear, both from my survivors with cancer and from my friends who don't have cancer, right? Part of the problem, I think, really is how we conceptualize what we are as sexual beings. And for a long time, I think what we have been told, and this is very much based on a male model, okay? And, men think about sex all the time, right? I think it's about 59 times a minute. Thankfully, it goes away a little bit as they get older, ladies, so then they can remember what you've told them to do. So the way we generally conceptualize human sexuality is first there has to be desire, right? You've got to think about it, feel like it, want it, and then something will happen. The reality is, particularly I think for women today, we have got so much going on that we don't think about it. It's not all to do with hormones. It's a lot to do with the busyness of our lives and everything that we have to accomplish and take care of and remember to do. So for women, desire is actually not the start of it. The start of it for women is a good relationship. So if you are in a good relationship and you are willing to be receptive to your partner's advances, and he or she is understanding that sometimes you just don't feel like it, right? That if you are receptive and your partner makes an advance, and, that could be taking out the garbage, or it could be coming home with a bunch of roses, or it could be, anything. There are different things that make us sort of, in tune to what his or her desires are. That very often with touch, with kissing and canoodling and all that kind of stuff, that often for women is when our desire kicks in. It isn't a thing in and of itself that pops into our head, right? Because, sex would be nice, but so would getting the laundry done, right? Or getting a head start on what I have to do tomorrow, or just getting some sleep. So So if you're sitting around waiting for your libido, for your spontaneous desire to set in, you're going to be waiting a long, long time.